Toy Pilipinas, may isa lang tiradyo. Sa Pilipinas, usa lang bay ang radyo. DZRH Nationwide at Radyo Natin Network ng Manila Broadcasting Company. Sa Pilipinas, iisa lang ang radyo.
Our town, our radio, Radyo Natin.
This program is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions, values, and policies of Radyo Natin. Radyo Natin shall not be held liable for any views or opinions expressed during this program.
Maayong buntag! Maayong buntag!
Maupay nga aga, magandang umaga, Biliran.
We are proud to share with our listeners the first episode of our program dubbed as
Sugilanon sa Bilir. My name is Jodel.
Ako si Ayla and we will be your hosts for this episode.
Ayla, I'm so excited about this program. One of the first siya sa atong province. But partner, can you tell me more about aning pangalan sa atong program?
Sure, partner. Sugilanon sa Bilir. Na ay two main aspect ani nga pangalan. Ang una is ang Sugilanon.
Makadungog ka na nga word, Ayla, no? Growing up sa little town in Kabukgayan. But I don't really know the meaning of the word.
Dili ma-scare, dili ma-worry, kaya nag-study ko ani partner. So, ang Sugilanon is a Binisaya word that is a form of story told orally. In other words, in istoryahay, narration, tales, and sharing lang yun of experiences.
Sana all, di halata nag-prepare ka for this,
Correct kayo na partner. So, it's your turn. Unsa man pud ning Bilir? Because I saw a lot of posts sa FB and Bilir man ang name and it sounds so interesting.
Sure. Bilir is founded by a group of professionals, mga students, volunteers, and civic and like-minded individuals from Biliran who convened, nag-meet, and then paved the way for a platform that aims to share and advocate stories of hope and the innate goodness of people toward good governance, equity, and solidarity. By the way, mo to siya ang pinaka-vision sa organization nato, partner. Big words, no? But how do we achieve our goals kaya, partner?
So, para ana, mugamit ta aning threefold approach to getting our message to our target audience or demography. So, the first one is virtual presence. Mo ni siya ang social media. We have Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, website even. And second is we have the magazine. We call sa Facebook og mga submissions na mga poems, any write-ups of Biliranon.
Short stories.
Yes. And once we come up with enough submissions, we will have this turned into magazine. And the third one is this program, radio program. Partner?
Yeah. Just want to add as well na yung call for submissions namin is still open. If you check on Facebook, just search Bilir, you will find there the further instructions. But unsa man gud daw ng Bilir? Bilir is a word that is said to be one of the etymologies for the word Biliran, which is the name of the province. And partner, para sa uban, no, when you say etymology, it means the derivation of a word, asa siya gikan. Sa Bisaya pa, it's understood as a corner or edge of a boat. Kay before Biliran was a boat making industry ang sikat noon. Or anything protruding like veins or the furrow made by the plow. Lawom siya nga English, pero partner, nabatian ta kaganiha. Unsa nga itong meaning sa Bilir sa Bisaya?
Siwil. So, kanang naasabot, ganin na ning siwil sa end.
Alright, sana all siwil. Now, the imagery mong good ana partner attempts to provoke discussions and information representing the collective aspiration of freedom-loving and service-oriented Filipinos.
Like most other organization, naasad tayo mga core values. And that is, number one, is to expose the truth. Ipagawas ang mga kamatuoran. Number two is to share valuable and relevant information. Number three is to inspire people to regain hope and move forward. And fourth, but not the least, advocate volunteerism and community service.
Thank you, Ate Ayla, for the explanation. But before ko mo proceed, no, like, interesting ni ang term na regain hope.
Yes.
Why do we need to regain hope, Ayla?
Well, kay kailangan na nato daghang tao ang dili kayo makakuan og hope karon, nawagtangan og hope tingod sa kalisod sa kinabuhi, inflation and mga struggles in life which is natural as our life progress. So we need hope na murag there's something after the rain, which is a rainbow.
Light at the end of the tunnel. Bitaw,
Yes.
to our listeners, we understand that our goals may be very, very big ni sila. But importante, ani, we take small steps toward
Yes.
the accomplishment of our objectives. Towards this end, and our first guest this afternoon or for today is someone who embodies the values of Bilir as an organization. He's an hospital administrator at Stanford Medical Center in California, USA. A very, very talented artist. You folks should check his artwork. A philanthropist. And when I ask him the best way to introduce him for this program, sabi lang niya yung phrase niya, proud Biliranon. Ladies and gentlemen, our listeners, let's welcome Mr. Ruel Cabulang. Hi, Ruel.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
Ruel.
Hi.
So, how are you? What keeps you busy these days?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to thank you for the opportunity of being here. Especially, I am the very first guest, and this is the maiden show of the program. So, what is a better honor than being the very first guest? So, thank you so much. What keeps me busy? Well, I travel a lot. First and foremost, I spend a lot of my time traveling, and I think it's one of my passions. So I never ever stop traveling, and I travel for business and at the same time for fun. Other than that, things that keep me busy, I do have a lot of advocacies. In fact, I'm leaving for Rwanda in November to start building another school. So it will be in Rwanda.
For the information of our listeners, where is Rwanda and what is Rwanda as a
Oh,
country?
sure. Rwanda is in East Africa. So I've been to Rwanda for the very first time in 2014.
Wow.
And I really fell in love with the country. Well, that was a side trip from Uganda. So Rwanda is south of Uganda. So when I was in Uganda to build a school,
Yeah.
I made a side trip to Rwanda and I fell in love with the country. And so, in fact, so in love that's where I would have wanted to celebrate my 50th birthday last year.
Aww.
Yeah, I was going to walk if not for the pandemic, everything was arranged. I was going to walk for 10 days. I would have walked the entire country.
Wow.
From the southernmost part of Rwanda, which is the border to Burundi. Burundi is another East African country. So from the border, I would have walked 120 miles, which is 1 times 1.6. It would be about, I don't know, almost 200 kilometers. I was going to walk it for 10 days. I was going to do 12 miles a day. And then that would have been for my birthday, but because of the pandemic and I was so scared to travel in Eastern Africa where healthcare is not as robust as, the Western world, so I decided to go to Iceland. I mean, I was very guilty, but, I went to Iceland instead. But yes, I'm going to
the
Rwanda
Northern
in November,
Lights.
and what keeps me busy. Please visit Iceland for once in your life.
So you've witnessed the Aurora Borealis. Nakita mo talaga?
The Aurora Borealis, I did not, because the Aurora Borealis, I've witnessed Aurora Borealis in Alaska and in Finland,
Okay.
because I was there during the winter time. Aurora Borealis only happens during the winter time.
Alright.
So I went to Iceland summertime in July last year. So
Grabe talaga, Island, no? Yung guest natin, bigatin.
oh no,
Traveled the world.
Yeah. And more importantly, based on Ruel's narrative, it captures the kind of volunteerism spirit that's
Yes.
in him. Which leads us, Ruel, to the first question
Sure.
that we've prepared for you. This is a very open question. You may answer in any way you want. But how do you define the word volunteerism and the word philanthropy?
Well, yeah, both words actually go hand in hand, and I don't really want to give you like a textbook definition. I would rather give you a practical, definition. But I think the gist of it is that it's all about seeking opportunities to assist others in need, and mostly personal cost. Yeah. So for volunteerism and philanthropy, how did I get into this? I know you did not ask the question yet, but I would really like
sure.
to. I would really like to explain to your listeners how did these two advocacies got ingrained in my life. So my father was the barangay captain for 20 years. And my mother is one of the most generous people I've ever met. In fact, people in our barangay would say that our house is like a big kitchen where people just come and go. For as long as we have something to offer, people just come and go and eat. So I think with that being ingrained in my childhood and my upbringing, I would say that I was able to cultivate the wisdom and the value of being generous. It just came naturally, maybe because of what I was exposed to growing up. So with volunteerism, it is all about you being altruistic, you being selfless. I'm not saying that I'm the epitome of volunteerism and altruism.
Wala namang ganun yata din.
I think more than anything else is that I have developed the value of generosity.
Yeah, that's very admirable.
Yeah, and we hope that there's a lot of people just like his mother and father, no, na mo work jud for the betterment of the people, help generously. And so I'll move forward to the next question, which is, you've mentioned earlier that you've traveled across the globe doing a lot of good things.
Yeah.
Could you tell us more about these experiences as a volunteer in your journey?
Sure. So I started volunteering in Uganda. That was 2012. But before that, I've been traveling since 1990 was when I really started traveling on my own. Yeah, so I graduated in 1993. That was 1993 was my first trip all by myself. I backpacked for 6 weeks in India, and I was 21 years old at that time. And why India it was because we had world history as a subject during high school, and I was very fascinated about Indian history and the architecture, and plus India is definitely the boiling pot of all different kinds of
culture.
Exactly.
My gosh.
Yeah. So that's why I traveled on my own. And I think that very first experience, in fact, I had way too much time. I think that I decided on a whim. I said, why don't I cross the border? Why don't I head south and take a ferry boat to Sri Lanka? I was freaking 21 years old. I was fearless. Sorry, oh my God. I was fearless. And then I said, but then unfortunately at that time when I was there was bombing. And in Sri Lanka they were struggling with a civil war between the government and the Tamil Nadu, and there was a bombing at that time. So I said, where would I go? So I headed up north and I crossed the border. I went to Nepal.
Wow.
When I was in India, I had seen so much beauty in the country, but at the same time it opened myself to a lot of the worst poverty I've ever seen. Yeah, the disparity between people who are rich in India and those who have nothing is so wide. They have the caste system. The poor people, even they call them untouchables because you don't want to touch them because they're so poor and dirty. That's why they're called untouchables. And when I saw that kind of poverty, I was like, wow, I thought we were very poor in the Philippines, but this poverty, nothing prepared me for this. I left India. I went, after the trip, and I could never forget about it. I felt like it was so hard to walk away from it without doing anything. But what can a 21-year-old do? So I said to myself, at one point in my life, if I'm able and I had the means, and I will give back. Then that's when I volunteered to be a part of a medical mission in Uganda, and we actually helped establish the very first cardiac program. We have patient 0001, the very first patient that received a pediatric patient that received a cath lab procedure in Uganda was our group. Our group was the one that did it. So, and that's how I got to it.
Must have been a fulfilling experience.
It is very fulfilling. I really want you, and I know you've been volunteering, for some causes, but if you do something, if you volunteer for something medical, where you really see the sick and the needy, it's very addictive. Once you do it once, you really want to do it all over and over again, and that's why I can't walk away from it.
But Roel, very quickly, you've mentioned earlier, what can a 21-year-old do given the harsh realities of this world? What advice could you give to individuals who unfortunately in their current situation cannot be as generous as other people but want to help?
Of course. Yeah, for the young ones, like, how old are you? 20?
I'm 21.
Yeah, age
You're
reveal.
21, yeah. Yeah, for
Don't
those,
ask me.
For the really very young and students, what you do is start within your own yard. Fix your life. Establish a beautiful life. Study well. Because if you study well and you get a career, I mean, fortunately or unfortunately, it's both a blessing and a curse. In our culture, when we graduate and we get a career and we start making money, we are expected to give back to our family.
Yeah.
We're expected to help our younger siblings and cousins who are not doing well, right? But that alone is actually part of the volunteerism.
Yeah.
If you help your cousins, if you send someone to school, then start within your own home. And then if you have extra, then help out somebody else outside your home. And before you know it, it's going to have like a ripple effect. Yeah. And it will keep growing and growing. So what the best advice is, fix your own life first. Because it's hard to help others if your life is a mess.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if I'm not saying that I have a lot of money, I don't, but I am very comfortable with my life. I am financially comfortable. I have financial freedom. It's not like I'm if I help someone, then I won't be able to pay my rent or my mortgage or whatever I have. So if you have to be financially responsible. But helping others is not only all about finances.
True.
You can help others by just volunteering your talent. Yes.
Grabe, no? You cannot give good what you do not have. That's
exactly.
what
Yes.
Sir is trying to say.
Yeah.
So, of all those volunteerism that you did po sa other countries, what are your usual struggles? And despite these struggles, what keeps you going po?
What keeps me going? Okay, the struggle. Well, when you start, I don't have a nonprofit organization yet. I'm working on it. I'm working having my own nonprofit. But, I mean, obviously, the financial part of it. I am just very fortunate that, number one, I have a talent that I can utilize. I paint, I auction, then I have money. It's so easy. I mean, I find it easy. If I'm in the zone, I can just spend 30 minutes and finish one painting in 30 minutes. I can do it.
Wow.
Yeah, I can really do it. In fact, as I told you, I finished 32 paintings in 10 days for artwork for the AR Hotel. Anyways, that's number one. Number two is I am very fortunate that I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends who have the resources to help me out. Like last week, I just reached out to, I think 8 friends. And I said, hey, my mother died, and I'm a little, I don't have the bandwidth right now to, and all of them just stepped up and helped me with my school in Uganda. And if I want to raise $10,000 in a few minutes, I can. So I mean, it comes with, it is a lot of responsibility, by the way, but it takes time to gain trust.
Yeah.
But once
Integrity.
you have the trust and you take care of
Yeah.
that trust, then people will continue to trust you. Struggles, as I said, the financial part of whatever you're doing, because you have to have some money to build a school. You have to have some money to be able to collect all these books and send to different parts of the world.
Yeah.
In fact, in the house now I have, I think, 10 large boxes of books that I just shipped, and we just received
Ready for
them.
donation. Yeah.
Ready for donation. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, very, very relevant yung example mo about books kasi that's the next question. We've heard and we've read your profile that you've started working on projects here in the province. Particularly, we've heard about the libraries in schools sa Biliran district that you have donated or in progress to be donated. Could you tell us more about those projects?
Sure. So what it started during Yolanda.
Ah.
So I came home and it just broke my heart that the kids can't go back to school kasi sira-sira ang school. So what I did was I organized a soup kitchen, and we were feeding. I hope I'm being politically correct when I say feeding, but yeah, we were feeding 7. How many kids are in? Yeah, I think in Balaki there's about 700 kids. So we were feeding 700 kids every day. We were feeding them in the
Wow.
morning and in the afternoon for 3 months.
3 months.
3 months or 5 months? I can't even remember, Jake. So I think, 5 months straight, every single day, Monday to Friday. And because we were trying to somehow incentivize the kids for coming back to school, because no one wanted to come back to school because the facilities were broken, and they were the classrooms were just makeshift. So most of the kids were not even interested to come to school.
Yeah.
So I said, I think food is the best incentives for children. If we prepare good food for them every day on a daily basis, then kids would be encouraged to come to school. And we did it. We had a lot of volunteers. We were paying some of them, but very minimal daily wages. But the most important thing is we were able to feed children, 700 children Monday to Friday for 5 months in a row.
Which I assume led to the eventual establishment of libraries.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I realized after that. So when the facilities when the government started
repairs.
Yeah, repairing, and I said, what can I do in this school? Something that is something that would be there forever, something that is obviously tangible, but something that that has that is multi-purpose. And so that's why we decided. I even hired a structural engineer because I wanted the building to be very, very strong, so that if there is a big typhoon, it can be used as a shelter or an evacuation center.
Especially that schools are the usual go-to.
Yes. And that was the reason why that's how the idea came up.
How do you visualize the school library projects here in Biliran? What are your future plans?
Sure. Future plans. I have funding, and I have funding for 130 mini libraries.
Wow.
And I don't know where I don't know if it will just be in Biliran, but I want to prioritize the entire island.
Hold on.
The entire island.
130?
130,
Oh
not
my
not
goodness.
not 13.
Wow.
130.
Dami, ah.
And I might take some of them to. I was just in Baguio, and I was interested to travel to Sagada.
Wow.
And because I've heard that Sagada is that area is one of the one of the most underserved communities, and I really want to build libraries up there. So that's one thing. That's what's gonna keep me busy in the next 3 years.
And rest assured that Bilir and other organizations in the province would be willing to help you.
Oh my
with
God,
your
I would
goals.
love to
Count me in.
I would love to collaborate with you. Yes.
And you know what, Ayla? What makes Ruel's experiences more memorable and I think more important is that Ruel could easily stay in the US
Yes,
and
to
live
live a comfortable
life. Yet he chooses to serve back, give back, and be here in the province and help a lot of people. And Roel, I just want to let you know, ang dami-daming na impact mo ng mga tao and influence, and one of those is me. And I think
Yes,
Ayla
me too. And I want to be that kind of volunteer, and I hope I can work with myself na I'll be better and be able
Yes,
to
you can. I know you can.
Yes.
especially in this world, no?
Yeah.
I don't know, medyo madalang na lang makita natin yung semblance of volunteerism.
Yeah,
Something
that's
that has
why
to be
we
emphasized.
wanted to inspire hope to people, because there's a lot of darkness in the world right now.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. And by the way, I am so proud of the both of you.
Thanks.
I love being around smart and young blood.
Oh my God.
Not just young
smart.
blood, but smart people. Okay, and I know, and I
Thank
could
you.
no, and I could really see, that you have leadership potentials, and you will be very, very important leaders in the
Love life
province.
na lang daw ang kulang. Sabi ni Ayla.
Oh my
But
God.
maybe to somehow wrap this up, Roel,
Okay.
what advice can you give to... I know, ang dami-dami yung advice mo na sinabi, but,
Okay.
to synthesize everything lang. Any advice to fellow Biliranons, especially the younger generation?
The younger generation. Yeah. So, wala na tayong magagawa sa mga 50 years old and above, I think, or maybe 40 years old and above. I think we just really need to cultivate and nurture the younger ones. I think ang problema sa Biliran, I love Biliran Island, by the way.
Yes.
I think ang problema lang natin dito sa Biliran is I don't see a lot of accountability and transparency. I appreciate whatever the government is doing, the local government, the provincial government is doing for the island of Biliran. I mean, I want to, don't get me wrong, but I really want to commend the provincial government for fixing the roads. We were just in Samar, and oh my goodness, their roads are marred with potholes. And I'm like, wow, Biliran is way better than this. Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing that I would really like to highlight na para sa akin is a problem dito sa Biliran is you really have to know someone sa government for you to get farther in life. Kung dito ka lang sa Biliran. Ang hirap mag-apply ng trabaho kung wala kang kakilalang si ganito. You cannot even get an item as a teacher if you don't know anyone. I know I might be rubbing rubbing elbows the wrong way by saying this, but I know that, and I know everyone is aware.
Yeah.
So how I wish that tayong mga kayo pa lang mga bata is
Bata ka pa.
please study well,
Yes.
build a career, and I really want you to find to capitalize on your career and talents instead of instead of just being corrupted by the culture of nepotism. Because the nepotism, I know it's rampant all over the country or
Yes.
everywhere, pero we can do something about it. We can do something.
Roel,
about
my
it.
little bird here is asking, what is nepotism daw?
Okay, so nepotism, like if you don't know anyone, if you don't know anyone in, just like what I said, if you don't know anyone in a certain government agency, you won't be able to get in. You won't be able to get into find a job or get an item. So you have to know someone, maybe a cousin, or you have to be politically aligned with someone.
So very quickly, Roel, yung pinaka-advice mo is capitalize on your
Talent.
niche or talent.
Exactly, your talent.
Build on that.
Yeah, education is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't, for those who won't be able to get a career or finish college education, you can do a lot of things. There are so many successful people
Totoo
who have
yan.
not finished college and yet they're very successful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are a lot of entrepreneurs who are very successful and yet have not even finished college.
Yes.
So yeah, it's not just all about getting but mas maganda sana kung meron talagang degree.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the degree. It's not the be all and all of life.
Nako, based on Ruel's concluding remarks, Ayla, parang madami pa tayong dapat pag-usapan. So maybe an
Yes.
episode 2 of this would still be Ruel or similar folks na inspiring.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
want you to tap on
Exactly.
others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, yung program natin only lasts up to 30 minutes. So
Yes.
I'm afraid we'd have to cap this off.
Yes. So, sa tanan na mamiminaw, daghang salamat sa pagpaminaw.
We appreciate all of you for listening.
This is Ayla.
And this is Jodel. And before we say the magic word, I'd like to thank from the bottom of my heart, Ruel Kabulang, for being our first guest for Sugilanon sa Bilir.
Yes.
Kini ang
Sugilanon sa Bilir.